What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, on audio is my co-host, Lance. Say hi, Lance.
Hey guys.
As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys will help us get there. All right, so today's topic is Pietro. Good or bad? Is he the villain, or is he someone there trying to help Wanda?
No,
What do you
I
think?
definitely think he's a villain. I don't think he's the villain, but I do think he's a villain. And me and you have talked off camera about this a little bit because I wasn't able to do the review with you the other day. Um, I kind of believe, like you believe, that in the comic book we know she had a kid.
Uh-huh.
The way they ended that show, we obviously know he's working with her. So I personally am starting to believe that that is her son, Agatha. That's
Okay, this is my current running theory on it, and just hear me out on it. It might seem a little crazy. I actually believe that he is Senor Scratchy, the rabbit. I believe in
you
some
know
form or
what.
fashion
You
he's
know
that.
what? I actually believe that too because like she's always holding that rabbit when she's up to
Mm-hmm.
some evil,
Yeah.
and
It.
he wasn't around when that happened, and anytime he is,
Yeah.
the rabbit's not around. So, I
Yes.
could see that, and I know a lot of people might think y'all are reaching, and we might be, but I
But
could see it. I could definitely see
well,
it.
this is why I say I don't feel like we're reaching on this one because I forget that her son's name, but it was something Scratch. I can't remember it now in the comics.
Right.
Agnes's son in the comics. So it wouldn't shock me if this is her son in some form or
Yeah,
fashion.
that I
And
definitely believe that, and the whole thing with them bringing out the whole Agatha thing and letting us know that it was like me and you, we seen that coming for a while
mm-hmm,
now,
yeah.
and so there wasn't a big shock with that. I think the bigger shock was him showing up at the end and being telling Monica snoopers are going to snoop or whatever he
Yeah.
said to her. And I feel like that was the biggest shock out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
If there was even a big shock in this episode, I guess that would be it.
Do you get the sense that I mean this is the only thing that I can go against my own theory is you remember at the end of that episode where Agnes is showing her purple magic
Yeah,
around him
right.
when he shows up, so it's
And
almost
yeah,
kind of
and
like
going and
he's
go.
being controlled by her.
Yeah, yeah, or and that might be the case, or he might just be working with her for all we know. I mean, I don't know,
And
but
why did and but again, why would Wanda? Wanda cast out
Monica Rambo.
Monica Rambo, so
Yeah.
because she said she didn't belong there, but she
So,
didn't do that with Pietro. She just
because
was like, he's not your uncle.
I think that she was unsure. Like she wants to cast him out
Hmm.
because she doesn't trust him, but at the same time she's kind of doubting herself a little bit. Like, what if that is my brother? Like,
I almost kind of think in the back of my mind, the reason why she didn't
or who
cast him
knows
out
when
is
she cast
because she knew he was
out.
a part of that world.
Or, maybe it's one of those things where she didn't really cast out Monica. Maybe Agatha had taken complete control of Wanda at that point and made her cast her out. Because in this episode when they're talking and Monica was actually getting through to Wanda, that's when Agatha shows up and was like, "I think you've outstayed your welcome."
Well, now let me.
You
All
know.
right, all right. Now I feel like we're kind of hitting on something right here, because do you remember when this last episode where it showed that she was in control as the director of what was going on in Westview? You remember that
Hmm.
part where it shows her behind the scenes?
Right.
All right. So take that. You remember when Darcy said in a couple episodes ago, she says somebody is editing this.
Hmm.
And then there was that scene, I believe it was in episode 3, when or
And
I think
I said it was
uh,
Agnes from. I said Agnes had something to do with it from the first episode
yeah,
when Wanda was trying to cook dinner, and then Agnes just showed up with whatever she needed.
yeah.
Like
But
I said, Agnes had something to do with it then, and
but do you but do
I've
you
been,
do you remember when I think it was episode 4 I think it was like episode 4 or something like that when she was when Monica Rambeau was cast out. You remember
mm-hmm.
she turns to Vision and she says, "Well, he has to go. She had to go home." And then the edited version was she didn't belong here, and
Mm-hmm.
that part got edited out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can maybe actually kind of see that to a certain extent,
So
simply because of
that's
that.
kind of where I went with it, because like she was actually getting through to Wanda, and that's when Agatha showed up. It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you need to go. Like,
Well, I mean, there's no doubt, Agnes. Every time that Monica would try to get through to her, well,
okay,
Agnes was there to stop it.
you remember like the second, third episode when Rambo first shows up as that Geraldine lady or whatever her name was,
Mm-hmm.
and they were talking at that little picnic or whatever at that blonde woman's house. And Agnes was kind of looking at Monica Rambeau, kind of like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah, you're right
You
there
know.
too.
So
So,
it was like anytime that Monica Rambeau and Wanda started building their friendship, even when she didn't know she was Monica Rambeau, Agnes was kind of like didn't want that to happen at all
yeah,
from the very jump. So I mean, I always kind of figured things, and they definitely clarified what we talked about in a couple videos again. She definitely killed their dog.
yeah. Oh, she even admitted to it.
Yeah,
She's like, I killed him. You know, but
yeah,
but
she's been behind, and she even said that it was her behind everything all along.
yeah, but
And I think that's because the guy from the sword,
mm-hmm.
which I think is actually Hydra,
I
is
actually
what
kind of believe he's working for Hydra too.
and
Something
so
either
clearly
him or
Agatha
her.
is, and because she's controlling all this, and all they want is Vision. They don't care about Wanda.
But see, see Herb is the one out of everybody that I'm the most confused about. When Herb made that
Yeah.
comment to Wanda about, "Do you need something changed?" That made me think, okay, he's working for Hydra. But then at
Well,
the
see,
same time,
at
I'm
the
like,
same
that
time,
can't be because she was.
I think he's actually one of those that is being controlled by Agatha,
Well, I think so
because
too.
you
Because it
remember when
even
they were
showed him being in
talking when
control,
they
her being in control of him. So I
yeah,
mean,
and
that's
when
the
they
part where I'm
well,
like,
even
it's on
before
her.
that, when they were when the twins were born and Vision goes outside, and him and
Mm-hmm.
Herb and Agatha are sitting there talking about Monica Rambeau not belonging there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, "What do you mean she doesn't belong here?" And that's when Vision starts to question things. And so,
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's some things that I'm just like, okay, a lot of things in this show don't add up in a lot of ways, and it's a good thing. You know, it's
oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's the one thing I love about this show the most is how much it makes me think. Like
yes,
I'm constantly trying to figure something out, and I love shows like that. But
yeah. Well, I know. I mean, it's one of those. You know, look, we do a lot of Walker reviews on here, and I know this is one thing that we've even talked about personally. Like Walker, it's just like it's a good show, but it's one of those shows that you kind of know exactly where it's
well,
going to
the
go.
one, yeah, okay.
It doesn't leave anything
the
up
way I
to.
was gonna sum that up is, it's kind of cut and dry when it comes to Walker. Where with this, it's always something to figure out. It's always something to test my knowledge or
Yeah,
my, just
it
my intuition, basically.
well,
And
yeah, it's something like you've got to watch every
and
scene
yeah,
of
yeah,
WandaVision because you
absolutely.
could be
That's
missing
what I
out
was
on
gonna
something
say.
important.
Every scene on that show is important,
Hmm.
not every episode. Like that. that's something that really hits home with me. Is every scene's important, not just the episode as a whole. Where with shows like Walker, it's like everything in between can be thrown out. It's what they say the last 5 minutes of this show that matter.
But see, this is one thing that also just kind of blows my mind in a lot of ways. Is I just almost kind of wonder if everybody is already in this, if she's done the whole world this way. Because there's so many of those little hexagon things that's in the world where Sword is in. And, the way things are situated. There was the thing on Director Hayward's wall was shaped like a hexagon. There's been a number of little hexagon shapes, whether it be on cups and other things.
There was little things about this episode that kind of threw me for a loop too. Like a circus opens up at the edge of town, and your kids don't ask you to go. I mean,
why a circus too? Like I didn't understand it. Like why a circus? What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just there was so many vehicles that came through the hex that they had to turn it into like a circus train type thing, or like a gypsy wagons or whatever. And so that's where they went with it, but I didn't understand that either.
But even with the Pietro thing, everybody was thinking that Pietro come from an alternate reality, the reality where the X-Men were, because, of course he was in X-Men. That was completely just blown out of the water, I think, last episode.
That was...
He's directly from Agnes in some form.
Yeah, and I don't know how they're going to twist that all around, because it was definitely meant to have some kind of X-Men tie-in, or they wouldn't have used Quicksilver instead of...
That and Billy and Tommy. Everybody thought, Billy and Tommy, and then of course Quicksilver. Coming from the X-Men, a lot of fans were hoping that this was going to be the tie-in to the X-Men franchise, and I feel like all of that has just been completely done away with.
I feel like if that's what they wanted to do, they missed their shot.
But see, here's the thing with that, and let me know what you think of it. I kind of feel like Kevin Feige would never have allowed the X-Men franchise to be a part of his MCU. I just don't believe that, because X-Men have been terrible movies all the way around. I mean, none of them's really been that good. I'm not meaning good as in things. I'm talking about ratings good, like with the public. Like it's got bad scores. I was gonna say,
me and you probably would disagree with some of the X-Men movies. But as a whole, they weren't great movies. No. I mean, they weren't well perceived at all. I felt like I felt like when they first started doing the X-Men movies, they started out strong, but then they got really weak and complacent really fast.
I actually thought the first movie was actually pretty good.
I did too.
The ones where they're kind of in the past a little bit, I like those. I like the ones when they were younger, like Professor X and yes, I did
Magneto
too.
And stuff
I
like
them better than I like. Now the last two X-Men movies or three X-Men movies, including the Wolverine movie, I thought were just utter crap. Like
I didn't like the one. I didn't like the one. Apocalypse.
Yes,
I didn't like that one at all. That was my least favorite out of all of them.
But see, when it comes to that, like, do you believe that Marvel would just allow that franchise to kind of somehow mix into it? Because that would leave a lot of questions about. I
feel like the X-Men movies are not. I mean, just the X-Men series in general, comics or whatever you want to go with. I feel like they were better to stand alone than to join up with like Avengers and the MCU type of Marvel. So
it's like everybody wanted Batman v Superman until they got it, and then people are like, we didn't want that. Alien versus Predator. Like, I
didn't want the Batman versus Superman from the jump. Like I remember when people were first talking about that, I'm like,
So I'm kind of actually glad.
I'm like, just watch the Justice League version, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't screw this up. Like,
So I'm actually, me personally, I'm actually kind of excited that this Pietro is not a part of the X-Men. Like, I'm excited. I didn't want him to go that route. I didn't want him
thought
to
I
introduce
didn't think there was a
X-Men.
way not to do it that way, but now they've kind of thrown that all out the window at this point. So
Yeah,
I'm
this is
actually kind of I like this way better. The one thing I hate about WandaVision,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not much. The one thing I hate about WandaVision is having to wait a whole week to get the
I
next
know.
episode.
You say
Here
that.
lately, like the last few episodes, I've been, as soon as they were over, I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta wait a week. Where when I first started watching it, I'm like, thank God I have a week before I have to watch another one of these.
You say you say that until we have to do reviews over something on like Netflix again, where that they release it all at one time,
You
and we
know,
have to
that's
watch
true.
10 episodes in a row like we did Umbrella
That's
Academy.
true. That's
So I
true.
mean,
That
that
is
was
true.
like I'll never forget during
Yeah,
the
but
first
I
few
mean,
episodes we are like, yay, Umbrella Academy, and then the last
yeah,
few
but
episodes we are
give
like,
me,
not this, not this.
yeah, but give me like 2 or 3 episodes at once.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually kind of cool with that. I don't want things to be given to me all at one time, but you could give like kind of like what they did on WandaVision, given the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
I
give
mean,
me
why
two
not
at a
make
time.
that a thing? Like, I think that's like the
Well,
perfect thing.
because there's only 10 episodes and they want to stretch it out as long as they can.
Yeah,
Like,
but yeah, well, that's true, and there's some benefits to that. Like with WandaVision, everybody's getting new theories. I mean, you watch Screen Rant, CBR, any of
oh
these
yeah,
different sites, they're just
Rants
full of
artists.
different little things. Yeah, they're just full of different sites that just are theories about
And
what's going
yeah, I
on.
mean, look at us for example. Every week we have new theories.
Yeah, yeah.
Every
Like I
week. I
went
mean,
from
there's some
thinking,
that are going to stay the same, but like our
yeah,
theories on how they're going to do things change week by
yeah.
week,
I
and
went
so
to
that
thinking,
that is one good thing. I will say that is one good thing about them stretching them out week by
yeah.
week is, we have a whole week where we're like, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, and then the next episode comes out. And you're like, what the heck? I've almost wanted to, if we weren't doing this for our channel, I would quit theorizing about this show because every time I think, now there are some things I was correct on, but almost every time I think I've got something completely figured out, they change it.
I thought we were going to be seeing Mephisto, and then when I thought, well, okay, they're not going to do Mephisto, I thought we were going to see Nightmare, and then like we haven't got to see any of these villains that I thought that were going to show up. Not unless Pietro is one of them. That's the only
You know,
thing.
I tell you one show that I would like to see them do on Disney Plus, like a Marvel do a Disney Plus series over, would be Venom.
Venom. Venom is. I actually really enjoyed the first Venom movie.
Yeah, I did too, and
I
I
actually
wouldn't
really
mind.
enjoyed.
I wouldn't mind a series version of that on Disney Plus.
I
Like I
wouldn't
feel,
either. I think it would tie in right now. There's this big uh, uh, thing to do with the comics about the symbiotes. So, like, I kind of feel like that could be something that could be at least a 1 or 2 season thing that would be on WandaVision.
let's.
That
I mean,
or not
let's
WandaVision, but Disney Plus.
let's at least talk about it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
who do you think? But even going back to the Pietro thing, who do you think he really is? In all
I,
honesty.
I do believe you are right about it being her son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how just yet, but because I want to say, oh, that's her son, so he's working for his mom or whatever, helping her be all evil. But at the same time, you made that valid point about how he was glowing with her magic.
Mm-hmm.
So is he just helping his mom out, or is he being controlled by his mom?
I know.
That's questionable.
That's see again. That's the one thing that I'm like, okay, that goes against the theory that that's her son. And
Yeah,
another
I
thing
mean, I
is, why is
saw.
he a rabbit? I mean, like, or if he was
Yeah,
that's who
you
that
know,
was.
yeah, I thought about something like that early on too. It's like, when you said the rabbit thing, I'm like, most supervillains have a cat. Well, she got a rabbit.
Yeah, I know she's got a rabbit. I mean, but to give him that name, there's got to be some tie to her son in some
Or
form
at
or
least
fashion.
the whole rabbit thing is to tie back into the whole magician thing. You remember
Could very
when,
well.
because when Wanda and Vision did their whole little magic show,
Hmm.
she let them borrow the rabbit.
Yeah, yeah, she did, didn't
And
she?
so I don't know if that's just something to tie back into the whole magician type thing. Like, you're not the only one with powers around here.
But see, well, I mean, she even kind of stated that. She's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, you
yeah, that's
thought
what
you
I'm
were the only
saying.
one."
So I don't know if that was like the whole rabbit thing is a tie into her basically being a witch or a wizard or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah, but all right. But when it comes to Pietro,
or a
this is
sorceress.
yeah. So when it comes to Pietro, he's not the X-Men version. I'm
Yeah, and
doubting that he's Mephisto now. I'm doubting he's
you know,
Mephisto. He could be
you know,
Nightmare, but I'm doubting that too.
you
I
know,
I think he's just her
when
son.
we started this video, the question of the day was Pietro good or evil?
Hmm.
And I'm like, clearly he's evil, right? Well, now talking about it and
Mm,
realizing that he could possibly be, whoever he is, could possibly be just under her thumb somehow, under her control somehow. That asks the question even more so: is he good or evil?
I think
I
I
mean, is he really evil, or is he good and he's being forced to do evil things by her?
yeah. Well, I think it's kind. It could be like a Wanda thing,
So
where he's
I
doing
feel like
things
this
against his
question.
will.
I feel like the question of Pietro good or evil is a really good question, and as
Hmm.
far as I'm concerned, it's still an unanswered question.
I think so too. I mean, there's so many little things that. Well, all right. Let me just name this last thing. In the mid cut scene, where
Hmm.
he says Snooper's gonna snoop, and then he
Hmm.
touches Monica Rambeau, and her eyes turn a certain color. So
Well,
he's
yeah,
also got
yeah.
that power as well.
You got to remember when she came through this wall that last time, the hex. She
Yeah.
gained some kind of powers. I
Yeah,
don't know
she
what
gained some
happened with
kind of
her.
power, but they
So
they turn a blue color.
yeah,
Agnes's color is
it's
purple, her
purple.
magic, and so at the end of that mid-credit scene,
Hmm.
Monica Rambeau's eyes kind of went purple, and so he's got that power too. So he could maybe even be the
So
one that's
then
controlling her.
here lies another question. If it was Wanda who gave Monica her powers as she came through the hex, her eyes would have been blue. So who did that?
Now say it again.
That's what I'm saying. If Wanda had given Rambo her little powers, or when she came through the hex, her eyes wouldn't have turned blue. I would think they would turn like red or something. So who gave Monica Rambo those powers?
Well, I think that is almost. I think that is something that
Or
has to
whose
do with the
magic?
hex
Whose
itself.
Or, I mean, if not, whose magic did they use there? Like, like when she uses her magic and touch her eyes turn pink,
Hmm.
purple.
What do
So
you
if
do?
somebody else did do that, there's somebody else in there with some powers too.
What do you believe? Do you believe that the hex is something that's a magic related, or do you think it's technology?
See, that's a really good question. That's a really good
Because
question. I,
why the
I,
hexagon
I
shapes if
almost,
it's not if
I
it's
almost
technology,
want
not
to,
technology?
I almost want to say magic, but then watching Rambo come through it makes me want to say technology.
Yeah, because and the reason why I say technology is because I don't understand the hexagon shapes. Like I don't
Well, and
understand that.
not just that, having to have the ability to change so many different things as they came into the hex.
Hmm.
When they extended the hex and everything that got transported inside that hex got transformed into something,
Hmm.
that would have taken a massive amount of energy to do all that magic at once.
Yeah. I just feel like
But then again, maybe maybe they're trying to make it look like that was Wanda because that's why she was so tired in this episode. When she had exerted herself so much doing that. I don't know, man. See, I have more questions than I got answers.
You know, the more that we talk about this, the more I think Pietro, or whoever Pietro is actually controlling Agnes. And that
that could be that would be a thing because the whole Vision waking Agnes up in the car at that time, I thought that was just a front, but maybe that was really him breaking whoever Pietro's spell over her for a split second. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have more questions. I do have answers about WandaVision, but that's something I love about this show.
Yeah. Oh, that's like my favorite thing about it. I mean, right now I would. I was kind of, even at the beginning of this episode, I mean, not episode, but at the beginning of this video, I was leaning against anything Mephisto related. And now that I think about it the more when it comes to the Monica Rambeau thing about how her eyes turn purple and how Pietro obviously has powers that are similar to that of Agnes, it makes me either think he is not just either her son or someone controlling her, like a Mephisto or somebody. So I don't know.
It very well could be. But overall, what would you rate this episode?
That episode, oh my goodness, I would probably rate it about an 8. I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. I want to say 8.5, 9.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode.
It was a strong episode, and I think every episode from here on out is going to get better and better and better.
Oh,
as we go, because we're getting so close to the end. I mean,
this is one show that I wish had 20 episodes.
I would agree with that. When I first started watching this show, I would have said, let's end this at 5.
Or let's end this at 1.
I mean, I thought they really messed up on this.
I did too. I really did too.
It's just a great show, though. They really, you want to talk about starting a show off where you think this is just going to suck and just turning it into a diamond in the rough. That's WandaVision for me.
Let's just put it this way. If Loki and then Falcon and Winter Soldier is half as good as this, then
I said that I said a few videos ago on these WandaVision videos. I said, when they first came out with this, I thought they really screwed up jumping into a series type thing on Disney Plus and starting with this. And now I'm like, if they can follow this, MCU really struck gold. Do this instead of movies. I would, but I'm that type of person. Anyways, I like series more than I do movies. If they can keep it being as good as they've done with WandaVision with their other series, I say screw the movies, just make series.
I say that too. Actually, because WandaVision to me has been the MCU's best work. And I mean that fully. I'm not saying it.
Yeah, and that's
including anything. I'm just talking about. This has been a brilliant show.
And I said it a while back, a few videos back too, that Disney Plus also struck gold with this because I think this is better than The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh, by far. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but I enjoyed The Mandalorian season 2. But to me, WandaVision is just better writing.
It's just a better show. It's
better show.
There was nothing about anything with The Mandalorian that just kept me so intrigued. Mm-hmm. I remember telling you, I think it was episode 3 of WandaVision. You're like, is it getting any better for you? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm definitely intrigued. And since then, it's just been better and better and better and better. And I just love the show.
Well, let's just put it this way. You brought up The Mandalorian. Of course, you had Gina Carano, and then you had Pedro Pascal. I feel like Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda Maximoff, and Paul Bettany, that plays Vision, I feel like those two are just better actors than what Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano was for the Mandalorian.
I 100%
even
agree
Evan
with you
Peters
on that one. You
plays
know,
Quicksilver.
I know a while back that you weren't a big fan of Vision.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
He's
this show's I think this show's changed your mind about that actor.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. He has grown on me. There's no doubt about it.
And you know, and I was the same way. You remember when we first started watching this? I liked the guy who played Vision a lot, and I didn't much care for Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
And she grew on me after like episode 3, like episode 2. I was still kind of like, there's something about her I don't like. But by episode 3, it's like I said in the last video when we were talking about Wanda being the villain. I'm like, I think too many people are in love with the actress who plays Wanda to believe she's the bad guy. Like,
yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of that way about
I was too, because even when she was doing some things that looked very bad, I was trying to come up with excuses for her.
Yeah, I know. I'm same here. Like I feel the exact same way. I don't want her to be the bad guy. I want it to be someone else.
Why I say she has grown so much on me, because at the beginning of the show, I'd have been like, I don't care, screw her.
I just feel like
she's grown on me so much now that I'm like, no, you cannot be the bad guy. It's even like, you know, that's something else Monica Rambeau had said to her. Don't let them, the head of sword in them, make you the villain. And that's when Agatha got all pissed off.
Yeah. And I'll tell you about this, even when it comes to Agatha, that Catherine Hahn that plays her, I feel like she's done an excellent job.
Oh, she's played the part, you know.
I will even go so far as say maybe she's the MCU's best villain that's been in all of their movies and series.
So far, I would agree with you on that.
I mean, because I think she's been the most legit.
Overall, this started out as a Pietro video, and it kind of turned into my thoughts over the entire episode.
I mean, you gotta have to do that kind of with WandaVision.
I missed that review anyway, so I did want to put out some of my thoughts on here. But overall, I think it was a great episode, and I'm excited for the next one. I can't wait.
So, quick thing. Who do you think Pietro is?
Man.
You think it's their son? You think it's Mephisto? You think it's Nightmare? Who do you think is it?
See, I do think it's her son to an extent, but then a part of me wants to say Nightmare.
I could go with that, because this seems like something that would fit his MO a little bit. And I can maybe see them holding off on Mephisto until the Loki series or something along those lines, or even the movies.
Or even if they decide to do a season 2 of WandaVision.
Yeah. So I could see. I could actually see. I could see them. I could see them extending WandaVision to give them enough time to build up the Loki series the way they want it before they just rush and come out with it. I'll be honest with you. At the very beginning of this, and I know we had talked about it a million times, I was so excited about Loki that I didn't even care about Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision. But now I'm like, I don't really even care about anything but WandaVision.
I was really excited about Loki and the Falcon and Winter Soldier one. I didn't care about this whole idea of WandaVision. And now I'm like, even if they don't come out with those, if they just keep doing WandaVision, I would be okay.
Yeah, I would too. I feel like, you know what? Just make this the MCU right now. Because I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and really, like I said, extend this series. Do a couple more seasons and really get your other series that you're wanting to come out with done correctly, the way you want it. Make it perfect.
And keep the same.
You could use WandaVision to buy you some time before you had to rush through and come up with something for these other series. Although I know they came out with the trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I have to go check that out soon too.
I think they need to keep the same writers for WandaVision for all the shows.
Definitely.
I actually believe that.
Definitely.
But overall, I think that's about all my thoughts on it. I think he's her son. I really do. I think he's Agnes' son. That's what I'll go with on this.
I could easily see it that way, but like I said, the Nightmare thing kind of comes to my head too because of the just the similarities of his character.
I feel
But
like he would be the perfect villain for this show. Even
definitely.
more than Mephisto. Like I feel like he would be the
I
one
feel
that
like
would
they
be
could
able to
save
keep you in a
Mephisto
dreamlike state
for
like
they
this.
could save Mephisto for the Loki series if they wanted to, or like I said, maybe even
Yeah.
bring him apart when you really get ready to end WandaVision, then kind of bring him to the front
Yeah. Yeah.
to where it could flow into the Loki series. So,
Definitely. Definitely.
I mean, but
But
overall, I thought this was a very strong episode, and I'm really excited for Friday.
no, definitely, definitely. But as always, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. And let us know what y'all think. Let us know who y'all think Pietro is. Do you think it's Agnes' son? Do you believe it's Mephisto, Nightmare, or someone else? Do you even still believe that maybe he's the X-Men version of Pietro? Let us know what y'all think in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.